The question is that the motion be agreed to. The Honourable Chris Finlayson.
I found the allegations of cronyism a bit rich, especially at times where I seem to be a one-person employment agency for former Labour MPs. But, Mr Speaker, I want to start by acknowledging and paying tribute to Margaret Mayhew, one of our great literary figures who died on Monday. Her books were translated into a dozen languages, and I'm very pleased to see that Joy Carley and other writers are planning an hour-long tribute to her at the Frankfurt Book Fair in October, where New Zealand will be the country of honour. Last weekend I went to the NZSO in Wellington, which performed Wagner's Valkyrie in honour of another great New Zealander, Lloyd Morrison. Nothing more exposes the inaccuracy of headlines that the NZSO could be axed than the fact that I sat through 5.5 hours of Wagner on a Sunday afternoon. Every New Zealander should support and be proud of this institution, although, as Michael Cullen said to me yesterday, there'll always be some people, Sir Michael, I apologise, Sir Michael, who said that orchestras are a waste of money and that there are some who say that the second violin should be abolished because they are an unnecessary duplication of services. Mr Speaker, I was very impressed by the singers at the concert, although the tenor could learn a thing or two from a certain member of this House whom I'm not allowed to bring into the debate, but whose musical virtuosity is known to and appreciated by us all, and I'm not referring to Brendan Horan. Last weekend we had a very successful National Party conference in Auckland. Spirits were high. The protests were scant. Nothing makes left-wing protesters abandon their cause faster than light drizzle. The mood of the public was positive, and it's because this government is getting things done for New Zealand. We're settling historical grievances with iwi, we're rebuilding Christchurch, we're improving infrastructure, we're paying down debt, we're strengthening New Zealand's capital markets. This will be a very busy 3 years for this government, and we will deliver results for New Zealanders. Now, the Labour Party's been very busy as well, staring at their own navels. They've just finished a momentous review, not of how to grow the economy or make the tax system work better, but how much of a voting share Helen Kelly should have in picking potential Prime Ministers, and I think they've settled on 20%. David Shearer's put in place a new organisational structure to cement his future as leader. Rather than plotting in the shadows and briefing TV3, Labour's roll call of leadership challenges will now have to write to the party's governing board to initiate a spill with the support of 2/3 of the caucus. Now, forward-thinking members like David Cunliffe will protest that his campaign website is a more 21st century way of signalling his intentions than old-fashioned letter writing. And Grant Robertson, that great internationalist currently temporarily resident in Wellington Central, probably thinks that a text from New York will suffice. Mr Shearer is a traditionalist. He's consolidated his position. He stands on the brink of greatness, at the threshold of ensuring his tenure as the longest-serving leader of the opposition in Labour Party history. Mr Robertson will also reach another great milestone, or perhaps not the one he was after, remembered as the longest-serving deputy leader. Mr Shearer may justify the odds to be known as one of the great tacticians of New Zealand politics. He's quietly outmanoeuvred Mr Robertson, who's stacked the party's headquarters and parliamentary offices with his loyalists, but Mr Shearer's changed the rules of the game. Now, I don't mean to say that Mr Robertson will never make it to the top job. In fact, he's often struck me as the Gordon... I'm not obsessed with him. He's often struck me as the Gordon Brown of New Zealand social democracy. And I'm not suggesting that Mr Shearer and Mr Robertson aren't close. A number of media profiles which accompanied their ascent to the leadership noted their similarities. They're very much the Noel and Liam Gallagher of the Labour Party. But there's no oasis for the Labour Party, it's all desert. So, Mr Oasis. But as I said, there's no oasis for the Labour Party, it's all desert. So it's been a week of triumph for Mr Shearer, out of the limelight, away from the glare of public attention, which he does leave to Mr Robertson. He's sorted out his legacy. But how irrelevant, Mr Speaker, it all seems when one compares to the achievements of our great Prime Minister and his government. On the one hand, an inward-looking party focusing on how to deal with party challenges, and on the other hand, a party and a government that are only interested in a brighter future for New Zealand.
Dr Russell Norman.
E te mangau o te whare tēnā koe. Mr Speaker, over the weekend, Government Minister after Government